O todas están iguales, pa. Dame esa pues, la que está encima.
Gracias.
Se prueba como así.
Like that.
Yeah. Mira esto como salió. Me alegro conocerlos, tenerlos una vez más aquí en mi comunidad.
So this is where Ana Rosa lives. So harvest the seals. It's a Timor hybrid and VSRG, developed by the Honduran Coffee Institute to be nematode resistant.
All right, the man you're listening to talk right now is benjaminpazm. Benjamin lives in Honduras and he has a coffee roastery, he's got a coffee farm, he's got a cafe, and he runs a dry mill, San Vicente. And Benjamin's biggest passion is connecting farmers and people who grow coffee to people on the other end of the supply chain, people who roast coffee, people like us. We've known Benjamin for years, but last year he introduced us to some coffee from El Cedral. El Cedral is on the Santa Barbara Mountain in Honduras, and Peña Blanca is at the base of that mountain. So we hooked up with Benjamin in Honduras so that we could meet the people that grew the coffee that we served in the cafe and build that connection. So the other guy that you see is Damian Chavez, and his farm is called Finca La Plátano. We bought his coffee this year, and it was some of the best coffee that we had. It was some of the most popular with the staff and most popular with the guests in the cafe. Earlier in the day, we did a blind cupping at the mill, and my favorite coffee on the table, and the one I scored the highest, was Damian Chavez's coffee. So I don't know if that's serendipity or weird energy fields or what, but it was pretty sick. So right now, Benjamin is explaining the details behind the Pera Inema variety. And if you don't know about coffee varieties, just think about it like this. Just like there's different kinds of apples, you've got Granny Smith, you've got Macintosh, Golden Delicious, Red Delicious. There's different kinds of coffee. So if you're reading a coffee bag and you see a funny word or funny name on it, Bourbon, Catuai, Caturra, Typica, that's the variety. And if you do know a ton about coffee varieties and you say, hey, Pera Inema is actually a cultivar because it's a man-made hybrid, you are correct.
There's one region which is south east of the country that they had a lot of nematode problems. Nematodes are bacteria that eat the root system.
So not broken.
No broca, it's on the soil. The root system of the Pera Inema is big and strong. So the variety was created for that, not for quality. Then someone brought the seeds to this mountain, planted the Pera Inema variety at higher altitude, and boom, you got all that bright, amazing acidity and this like incredible and different, unique profile.
Pera Inema is pretty interesting. It's a really big bean. It looks kind of long and flat.
I didn't see that. It's big. You're giving.
So the real deal is we're at this coffee farm. We're with Damian Chavez. We've had his coffee since he started growing it, which was really just 2 years, or he bought the farm. It's his second year of production. This will be his third. We just went to his house where he's got his really small drying beds, and he actually mills at his sister's house, which is 2 doors down, a really small depulper and a really small tank. Now we're out here at the farm, and I've been trying to film and talk about it, but I'm trying to not be disrespectful because it just, I don't know, it feels kind of weighty. It feels really heavy, you know, to just like meet someone for the first time and then stick a camera in their face. And I don't know if I like the feeling of it yet. So I'm gonna ask him when we get back if we can interview him or talk to him a little bit about the coffee and then report there, because I just kind of want to have the interaction and just see how that goes.
Practices.
Yerba.
Yerba?
Yerba.
Like organic practice.
It's also really steep and kind of hard to get around. Whoa!
It's crazy. Slow down.
Whoa! It's an avocado.
Yes. Aguacate de anís.
Aguacate de anís. This is an avocado, and it smells like black licorice, like anise. It's crazy.
I don't know what we're gonna do next, but we're seriously contemplating doing some crazy stuff to help.
I have no idea. Kid family. Le gusta. No, just like.
Oh, that's how you like it. This is good. Candy coffee. So yummy.
So El Cedral is this really awesome community full of a bunch of little houses and a lot of land that's growing coffee. And basically most people / almost everyone here has their own small farm. And if you walk up and down the street, you see drying beds in everyone's yards. And it's really, really cool. Everybody knows each other here. And it's super relaxed and really, really chill.
You come to Oregon, you talk to people, and you are negotiating actually with the farmer. If you want to talk to Damian and say like, hey Damian, this is what I want to do and this is how I want to work, and I like you and I want to share time with your family, it's like, perfect, because you are giving a lot of value to that relationship, and that's going to have an effect in the product. And that's what you sell, and he lives from that. It's a transaction that is based on a relationship. Laura Perry with Elio, for example, we're just walking down the street, and Elio's coming with his mule with 10 buckets of cherry in the back of the mule. And I'm like, Elio, what's that? And he's like, oh, this is coffee cherry. And I have a farm up there. So Laura's like, I want that. I want to taste it. Boom, 88.
This is where it gets slightly interesting and almost kind of made me a little bit uncomfortable. When we were talking with Damian earlier, he was talking about milling at his sister's place. Their tank is really rough, it needs to be retiled. He saved enough money and bought new tile to retile it, and that'll help him keep it clean and crispy. And one of his goals for the next year, if this year goes really, really well, is to buy his own depulper and have his own wet mill. His sister's depulper wasn't as clean as it could have been, so he's got dreams to increase the quality at his farm and just kind of handle his own production. Jared and I basically had the same idea on the fly, which was we should buy him a depulper or help him build his mill. And the reason that this made me feel a little uncomfortable is I'm always skeptical and a little sketched out when coffee companies integrate coffee farmers into their marketing really heavy. Sometimes it can feel like you're just really easily exploiting someone, or you put a picture up of someone like, hey, this is a farmer, but there's no real relationship there, or you don't know the details, then it almost just, it feels like you're using something that's really disconnected to sell something here. Does that make sense? So I didn't want this to turn in to something like that, or appear to be something like that. We also talked with Benjamin a lot because we wanted to make sure that it wasn't awkward to come meet someone and then the very next day come and drop off a depulper at their house. Make sure all the cultural references were right. We wouldn't be insulting anybody or anything. The thing is it wasn't really that expensive. So it was about 14,000 lempiras, which is right around $600. So we're a small business and we don't have a ton of money, but for us, $600 isn't gonna make it or break it. But for Damian, this jump on starting his own wet mill, this kind of changes his life. So it was just a way to do something really cool for someone. We got the benefit of having his really awesome coffee. Our guests and our wholesale partners got to enjoy it. And I really enjoyed drinking his coffee, and it was a cool way to kind of just help pay a little bit of that back. So yeah, we bought him a depulper.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
We have a gift.
Think I am?
Wow, yeah.
Te trajeron un regalo.
Que no me lo esperaba y
Yeah, he wasn't expecting this.
Well, just partners.
Small contribution.
Yeah.
Una contribución pequeña, dice.
para mí es maravilloso. Yo voy a ver de qué manera lo consigo y súper agradecidos.
This is why I'm working in this industry.
He's got it.
Oh yeah, we got it.
Tell you to do it this way than the way I was doing it.
Esa es para moler unos 2,000 galones. Es un regalo enorme para mí, más bien no me lo esperaba.
Never expected this.
Va a quedar en la historia de mi vida.
This trip totally changed the way I think about coffee buying and the roaster and farmer relationship, and there's a few things that really made it click on a deep, deep level. The first one was that Damian was really cool to connect with. He was just a really awesome dude. He's humble, mellow, super chill and soft-spoken, but he's really passionate about the quality of his product and he wants his coffee to be the best that it can be. The second thing that made this really special for me is that we buy pretty much all of his coffee. He has 2 or 3 bags of pockets that he sells to someone else, but everything else we buy. So his farm and our business are about the same age. They're both kind of young. And that was really impactful. You see some really famous farms or bigger farms, and you'll see those at a lot of specialty or a lot of third wave roasters. You'll see the same farm name over and over and over again. And it's not that those coffees aren't good, and it's certainly that those coffees aren't special, but I just don't think that I would have felt that same kind of connection if I was at a larger farm or a more well-known farm that sells to maybe 5, 10, or 15 other roasters. Now I need to clarify that I don't consider myself to be a green buyer, and I'm certainly not a prolific one. There are so many more people in specialty coffee who have done so much more for farmers, for the whole supply chain, just to make the whole system much better than it was. I'm not even trying to pretend to be on that level. I'm just trying to convey, and it's really hard to put into words, that this experience I had in Honduras forever changed the way I will think about green coffee and origin. So take that for what you will, stay dialed, and I will catch you on the flip side.